Where do you want to start? Shall we go with jobs first? What do you think the best plan is to really get jobs back in this economy?
Well, first of all, I think all of these things are connected, and what we need is a continuing growth strategy, and it's exactly what the president has been focused on, because the best way of dealing with the debt and everything else is to grow our way out of this. And I think one of the things that's really been underreported are some of the very specific steps that the president has taken focused on growth. That includes export promotion, which he's been very big on. It includes attracting foreign direct investment into this country. It also includes making it easier for small companies to go public when he signed the Jobs Act a few months ago. So the growth strategy is critical. It's clearly linked to jobs.
Everyone wants growth. Everyone wants more opportunities in this economy right now. How different do you think, how vastly different are the two plans from both parties?
Vastly different. I mean, if I could stretch further, I would stretch further. I think they're just vastly different. I think Mitt Romney's plan is a top-down plan. I mean, it's exactly where, what we did a decade ago. The president's plan is really one focused on the middle class, recognizing that we've got to invest in job skills. One of the most frustrating...
But he's had 3.5 years to do it, right, Governor?
And look at the progress that we've made. And this is part of the frustration when people say, when people forget how bad it was. When he took office, we were losing 800,000 jobs a month. And now we've had 29 straight months of job growth. That's actually significant improvement. There's no question we've got to do better. We've got to create more jobs, and I believe that the president understands that before everybody else does.
But, Governor, why aren't we growing more? I mean, you look at any other recession in history, and when we come out of it, we come out of it big.
Here's the difference. This was not just a recession. The financial markets, when he came into office, were frozen. I will never forget, right after I took office when he did, all the governors met in Washington, and we had an opportunity to sit down with Secretary Geithner, with Peter Orszag, who was a budget director at the time, and with Ben Bernanke. They were the three most sobering meetings I have ever had, because they all said, we're going to focus on getting the economy going again, but there's this other issue, and that's about the financial markets, which are absolutely frozen.
Governor, has this president done enough to bridge the divide in Washington that led us to that credit downgrade this time last year?
Here's how I think about this. When Mitch McConnell, the lead Republican in the Senate, said maybe a year into the president's term, well before this cycle was even underway, that his #1 objective was to make President Obama a one-term president, what does that say about the willingness of the other side to sit down and make things happen? The president certainly wants to get things done, but it's very clear that the other side has not been interested in that. And so now the big hope is that after the election, the president will obviously be term limited should he win again. The fiscal challenges are so significant that everybody will come together.
Let's get to the issue of taxes, which has become a big issue in this campaign and clearly important to a lot of our viewers that watch here on Bloomberg Television. We've heard a lot about how the wealthy need to pay their fair share. But the top 25% of all earners in this country are paying 87% of total tax receipts. So thus, they're paying the majority of the money that's going to the government. Do you think raising taxes on this group of Americans is fair?
Look, I mean, first of all, in progressive tax systems, that's generally how it happens. To me, one of the defining moments of this entire campaign was when all 8 of the Republican candidates for president last August in Iowa, a year ago, all said that they would not accept a deal where you get $10 of spending cuts for $1 of revenue increase. I mean, I think a balanced approach is generally the approach that makes sense. There's no question we got to get spending under control. We've got to deal with the debt. We've got to deal with the deficit. But the best way of dealing with all that is to have a growth strategy. And part of that means having the resources that we need to invest in job skills, to invest in education, to focus on roads and bridges, which can put people to work right now on things that will actually lead to longer-term economic prosperity.
Do we have the time to do that? I mean, you look at what's happening in Europe right now. We've got $16 trillion in debt. How do we make sure we don't become them?
Well, first of all, I think we don't have a moment to waste, which is why I'm glad that the election's almost here, and I'm hopeful that everybody will get together. But there's no question, big issue. It's staring us right in the face. We've all got to work together.